Hi, welcome to another lesson inside these workshop series for using Blender for your first video intro. Yes, Blender can be used for that. If you want to participate in this lesson, I suggest you install Blender. You can get Blender at blender.org. You can go to download, you can scroll down, and there is for Windows. You've got a lot of other possibilities here, but I'm using Windows for this tutorial, so you can go to installer and then 64-bit, and I'm in the Netherlands, so I just click this one and I installed Blender. Yes, so if we have Blender installed, we can open up Blender, and if you open up Blender for the first time, you'll get this window. Not exactly the same because I changed my theme. I'm gonna tell you how I can do that, how I did that. But for now, Blender, you can just click off this little screen here, and then it's gone. Okay, how can I change my theme? Because I think you have a different theme if you for the first time you opened up Blender. You can go to File, User Preferences. You can go to Themes, and on the presets here, you can select one of these. So I just selected Science Lab because I like that. And then Save User Settings. Every time you open Blender, if you press Save User Settings, it'll keep this theme. Right. This is Blender. This is your first this is the first default theme. Scene, I mean. If you've got here a camera, in Blender everything is selected with the right mouse button. That's a bit strange in the first time, but you'll get used to it. So I just pressed with my right mouse button on this camera here. That's a symbol for the camera, and here the symbol for a light. And here this is a cube. That's a geometry thing, and you can see the grid. You can zoom in and out with the middle mouse button. Hooray! And you can press the middle mouse button and it'll rotate around this area here. And you can press Shift middle mouse button and then you can pan around. So, for instance, if I want to zoom in on one particular corner of this cube, I can zoom in, Shift middle mouse button, get to the right top corner there, Shift middle mouse button, zoom in middle mouse button. So now I'm there. Just to show you how you can zoom around the scene. Okay, we can just use this scene in order to do something with Blender. I'm gonna show you how the window management works in the different follow-up videos, but for now I can tell you that if you hover over this line here, you get an arrow with two arrows connected, and I'll just make a little bit more room here, and you've got the cube here. You can see it's selected. If I press right mouse button, press the lamp is selected, and the camera. You can also left click here to get the objects selected. Alright, this is a tutorial about video intro making, so I'll be just diving into the real stuff then. The bottom here is your where you do your animations. First thing you need to do is get your head around the fact that it starts at frame 1. A video is just a sequence of images, and what you see here is the frame. You can see the amount of the frames inside the video, and so you have here 250, and then it ends. And that says here end 250. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change that to something we can work with. But first we need to set this here. This camera here, I click the camera. If you don't have it selected, you can click the camera and then go all the way down, and you would have this one here. If you create a video, it'll output to the temp directory. I don't want that. I can press this button here and I can go to, I just select my documents. That's okay for now. Just in your machine, just put it on on one of the directories where you want to put your video. Just click accept, and this one here, it says PNG. I'm gonna put it on H.264. It's a video format I use a lot. All right, that's that taken care of, because I want to change. Yeah, you need to change this in order to get the proper videos. And also, this is 250 frames long. I don't want that. I'm gonna check the frame rate first. It says here on the right, frame rate 24 frames per second, 24 frames per second. That's a decent frame rate. And if you're using 24 frames per second, if you got 250 frames, you've got 250 divided by 24 frames, so you got like 10 seconds of animation. I don't want that, so I just change it to what, say 100 here. So we got start, end, says 250. Click that number and then enter 100, and then you'll see it starts to get back here. So 100 is roughly 4 seconds of video. All right. Okay, animation. How is that done? Animation is being done with keyframes, and the way keyframes work, it's easier to get your head around it by just looking at it, the way it works. So if I've got 0, I'm at frame 0 here, and I press this automatic keyframe button here. Click, and this makes sure that the keyframes are added at the frames where you want them to. So I've got 0 here, and I press the cube and I just slightly move it up or down. Just put it in a position where I want it to start. So in this case, you see here, if I move the white line away from the yellow line, you can see a yellow line here. That means there's a keyframe on this position for this object, for the selected object. Hooray! So I've got the first keyframe set, and if I want to, I'm going to 100, and I want to move the cube all the way up like that, and maybe check the camera as well. I can right click the camera, or I can press the 0 on the numpad of your keyboard. You can see what it does. It moves the object. This is what the camera sees is what the camera will put inside your video. So I just moved it up all the way, and if you now scroll this bar here, you can see what it has done. I just gave it an initial position here and an end position that's off camera now, but that's okay, at 100, at frame 100, and you can see it's off the screen. But that's okay. It just shows you how you can do that. I also want to change some rotation here, so I put it at frame 50. Press the 0 to get out of this camera view mode. Very important. So you can scroll around without moving the camera, and then click the cube, and I'll press R. And R, you can rotate, you can rotate the object, and but I only want to rotate it in around the Z axis. So I press Z, very important, R, and then the Z axis, and then you can see what it has done. I can just roll this around and see what it has done. So there we go. We got a spinning cube. If I press the 0 on my number pad, and if I do this, you can see what it has done. All right. So this is a very short introduction of using Blender to get your first video intro animation going. Okay, last thing we need to do is get this rendered to an animation. So you go to this this scene here. So to do this, you click this camera here and then press animation, and then it'll start render the animation. I didn't do anything with lighting or color or anything else. It just shows you how you can set up your first animation scene inside Blender. All right, it's almost done. Once it's done, you can go to render and then play rendered animation. Here we go. Yes, it even shows you the frame it's at. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this first iteration to get to know how to get to a animation inside Blender. And I'll see you at the next one.